Good morning. This is your host Trevor on another episode of New York Podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about issues with the horse carriages in New York City, and there's been two major incidents. So let's jump into it. The horse-drawn carriage industry in New York City is facing its most severe political crisis in decades, following two catastrophic back-to-back incidents in Central Park in the month of June. These events have completely resigned the fierce political battle over whether to permanently ban the 150-year-old industry. Here are the two incidents. The first one, the fatal collapse of Dennis the horse early in June. A 16-year-old carriage horse named Dennis suddenly collapsed and died while working near 72nd Street and Central Park West. While animal rights activists immediately pointed to exhaustion and inhumane working conditions, a subsequent necropsy revealed the horse had actually ingested a highly toxic Japanese yew flower. Even so, the highly visible death caused public outrage and brought immediate political heat back to the industry. The second incident, the tragic death of an 18-year-old tourist June 16th. Just days after Denise's collapse, a horrifying incident resulted in the first known passenger fatality involving a Central Park carriage. Ramesh Mohan, an 18-year-old tourist from India, was riding with his family when the driver stepped away from the carriage against strict regulations to take a photo. The horse, a newcomer named Samson, bolted as the driverless carriage barred through the park loop. The teenager's mother fell out. Ramesh attempted to save her but was thrown from the carrying vehicle, suffering a fatal head injury on the pavement. The carriage then clipped another carriage and overturned. The political fallout and riders' law. These two events have shifted the horse carriage debate from a niche animal welfare issue into a major public safety emergency. The push for riders' law activists like the group NYC and several city council members immediately moved to fast track and reintroduce riders' law, named after a horse that collapsed in Manhattan in 2022. The legislation aims to completely phase out horse-drawn carriages in New York City and transition the drivers into alternate employment, like operating electric vintage-style cars. The bill had previously failed to pass in late 2025. The stance of the Central Park Conservatory. In a massive blow to the industry, the non-profit Central Park Conservancy, which manages the parks, issued a scorching statement declaring that a human life is not an acceptable cause of an inadequate industry, and aggressively demanded city lawmakers pass the ban. The mayor and union class. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has vocalized his clear support for ending the industry in the city parks, pushing for a just transition for workers. However, the industry is backed by the highly influential Transport Workers Union, TWU Local 100. The union has suspended the driver involved in the fatal accident and retired the horse, but they are political digging in, arguing that the city needs to focus on overhaul park safety infrastructure, including e-bikes and delivery vehicles, rather than destroying the livelihoods of carriage drivers. So this is a really heated debate, and looks like if this mayor gets what he wants, it may end it, because it seems like he's really not in support of having these horse carriages around. So let us know in the comments what you think about the issue. Should the horse carriage in New York City be banned, or should it continue? Tell us what you think in the comments. So you can follow us on Spotify, subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, and also too, Ventures Tours NY is teaming up with the Global Digital Bimby with tours in Nigeria and across the diaspora. You can contact them at bimpy2011@gmail.com or Adventures Tours NY directly at eventtoursny@gmail.com, and also don't forget to contact them too for New York City tourism. Until our next story, have a wonderful day.